After a nationwide publicity campaign, Quentin Tarantino's first film to ever screen in China, the gory revenge flick Django Unchained, premiered in a Beijing movie theatre at midnight last week and then stopped. Despite having received approval from the country's film, broadcast and press watchdog, it seems someone had cold feet at the last moment. One microblogger who was present tweeted this widely forwarded message. It said, "After watching it for about a minute, it stopped. Staff then came in and said film censors had called to say it had to be postponed. What's going on?" Well, across the country, movie theatres received calls ordering them not to show the picture after all. So why was a movie that had already been passed by censors and due to show in thousands of theatres pulled so embarrassingly late? No one seems to be quite sure, and the authorities' excuse, technical problems, is being treated with the contempt you might expect. One theory is that censors were so engrossed in examining the movie's violence and bloody scenes that a fleeting scene of male nudity slipped through and was only noticed at the last minute. There are now online rumours circulating that the movie may make it back to screens with further cutting. Whatever the reasons behind the whole farce, the new GAPPRFT, that's the General Administration for Press, Publications, Radio, Film and Television, it seems has wasted no time in proving itself equally gaffe-prone to its much reviled predecessor, SARFT, the State Administration for Radio, Film and Television. So what have Chinese net users to say about the whole gloriously bizarre affair? Well, let's check in now with our researcher, Julia Liu, to find out. So, Julia, first of all, have net users any further theories as to what happened here? Presumably they're not buying that claim that technical difficulties miraculously affected all of China's 10,000 or so movie theatres at the same time.
Well, no, they don't. But the theory of an overlooked nude scene being noticed at the last minute is one that plenty of net users are willing to believe might be true. A poster called 21世纪经济报道 has this argument on the trailer he's saying. From the limited release versions of the films, it looks like the bloody scenes were altered, but the nudity shots were all kept. And that's actually a fairly popular view expressed in plenty of other similar posts. While some, though, suspect it may have been political sensitivities, not bare flesh, that caused the problem. This poster, 和平州, says, "It has a dangerous theme of underdogs rising up violently against the authorities." Well, this poster on Sohu.com mentions yet another explanation circulating in movie circles, pressure from high places. Well, he says, even an anonymous letter can affect the destiny of a film. Recently, there were too many news reports talking about the nude scenes, which irritated someone in powerful institutions. A powerful voice put a lot of pressure on the distributors and censors. And this net user claims to work inside the regulatory agency, has this to say. Blockbusters made by high-profile directors are censored most strictly in China. The more famous the director, the more people will tend to watch it, and different audiences have different tastes and standards. And finally, on this poster on zjol.com.cn, it's just annoyed by double standards. Well, why are so many trashy Sino-Japanese war movies with ridiculous and untrue plots shown on TV, but this film about a man who doesn't want to be a slave killing a slave owner isn't?
Okay, so tell me, Julia, does the fact that Django Unchained has been pulled from Chinese cinemas really mean that Chinese movie fans are never going to get a chance to see it?
No, obviously not. Just that it may not be in the comfort of a movie theater. For example, given the lax attitude to copyright here, the movie can be easily downloaded online. And according to this poster, 风声的边界, the cancellation has just increased many people's desire to see the film. It's like one line in the trailer which says, "Previously I was just curious, but now my interest is totally triggered." And 月月的老豆 from Guangzhou even admits, "I didn't know anything about the movie until I heard the news that it was cancelled." However, there are different views about whether Django Unchained should be banned from China or not. And of course, as there's no rating system here, it's either all or nothing. And this poster from Anhui says, "The film depicts eroticism and violence and will have a bad effect on Chinese teenagers." But another day user is more interested to the legal situation this has caused. Well, the sudden cancellation of Django Unchained indicates the authorities' ignorance of legislation. The tickets have been sold and the contract settled, but not carried out. To some extent, the respecting of a contract reflects the degree of a civilization and development level of a country. And in this, the government's behavior is a negative role model for the public. And Li Jianzhong is worried about those behind the movie. Well, for the audience in the theater, a movie may be just about amusement and popcorn. But for the producers and investors, a movie involves a lot more effort and risk.
Okay then, Julia. Now, whatever the exact reason for this fiasco, censorship is at the root of it, obviously. Is there any more general discussion on this aspect of it?
Well, first, a poster on Sohu.com has this interesting insight into who actually makes these censorship decisions. It's an internal system not open to the general public. Normally, the producers or investors of the film who submit their copy to the film watchdog don't even know when and by whom the film is seen. And the film administration is not the only agency involved. For example, films about children require someone from the All China Women's Federation, and crime films will have representatives from the police and security forces. Well, Wu Mingzhihen from Beijing has this common complaint. The standard censorship made within the system itself are often ambiguous and self-contradictory. And Qiu Hanfeng on Sohu.com is among the many net users who want a film rating system established. The film administration is so powerful, it can throw the moviegoers out after 1 minute, but it still can't seem to establish a simple movie rating system. Well, this system was being discussed when I was at school, but now it's a decade since I graduated and it's still under discussion. However, this poster claims that those who oppose a rating system are not the regulatory agencies, but the production companies, saying, all these companies want to appeal to the maximum audience. Who is going to be willing to put an R level on the movie and lose half of the audience? Finally, I'll end the discussion with Shi Chuan, who argues, okay, the content of imported movies should fit China's regulations and cultural norms, but China's organization, management, and implementation of censorship obviously lags far behind market demand.
Okay, thanks for that, Julia. And that was China Take researcher Julia Liu with online reaction to the unexpected pulling of that Tarantino film Django Unchained from Chinese movie theatres on the day it debuted here. Next up on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.